Now for what I'm about to do, if you've got a tripod, it will really help. Mine's from Amazon, it's cheap, it'll do. We'll use it later for some light painting. And then there's this bad boy, and this bad boy. This is a fast lens with a wide aperture, or in other words, a low f-stop number. So it means it can lend a lot of light when it's wide open, particularly at night. And that's great if you want those bokeh portraits. I started here in Bank. Now everyone comes here to get that classic look-up shot. It works really well if you've got a wide-angle lens. You can get away without a wide angle, but you'll probably have to lie on the floor and look up. Now just around the corner from here is Leadenhall Market. These have got those Diagon Alley, Harry Potter scene vibes. But just before we got there, we managed to find this nice window light, and I really wanted to take this particular shot of where my brother was jumping into the frame just while the light was entering. And I thought it would look really majestic, but I f***ed up. I forgot to adjust my shutter speed from earlier, so essentially I just had a bunch of out of focus shots of my brother jumping into this light. You see, if your shutter speed is too slow, you introduce blur, which is great if it's deliberate and you're going for a certain effect, or if you want to do some light painting or long exposure stuff. But in this particular case, I wanted it really sharp. Anyway, at least I wasn't the idiot that was constantly jumping and passers-by were looking at. After that failure, we actually ended up in the market. Now, annoyingly, there was some construction, so I was limited by the angles I could actually shoot. I managed to get this shot. Not my favourite, but it'll do. It's actually quite a cool place for portraits. I'm always looking for neon signs that I can kind of just blur out in the background. So I managed to find one here, and my brother actually managed to take a decent shot. Now, there are actually quite a few people out shooting that night, mainly because there was an Australian YouTuber who goes by the name of North Borders, who was in London, and he'd essentially arranged a meetup. But around 500 people turned up, so clearly no one was going to take any pictures when there were that many people together. So we kind of went off and did our own thing. But this place is iconic. There's so many angles to play around with, particularly because you can frame St. Paul's really nicely. But to be honest, everyone's got that shot, and what I really wanted to do was some light painting. So I gave my brothers instructions to wave my light wand furiously, and this is what we came up with. The security guard then politely asked us to move because we were f***ing up with their cameras. Now here is very deliberate. So I've got my tripod set down, and this time I've deliberately slowed down my shutter speed. I was going to have a 15-second long exposure of this, and my brother basically had to paint in that time. And that's just because when you first press it, the camera will shake. You don't want that because it'll make your picture blurry. We made our way to the next location. I wanted it to be the last, mainly because it was freezing, but I wanted it to be good. We were messing around in the phone box and my nan light just to get some cool portrait shots. Here's what we ended up getting. But to be honest, the one that I really wanted, and I've taken it before, but I wanted something different, was the long exposure going behind this of the London buses. St. Paul's in the background, phone box in the front. But actually we managed to meet a few other people who were also out shooting. Essentially we had this idea of this guy was going to get on top of the phone box. I stuck my light inside for some atmosphere, and I got the shot just in time before 300 other people turned up, and then essentially decided to photobomb. Man, I really miss going out to take pictures. I really need to do more of this. To be honest, when you've not been out shooting for a while, it's important not to set any expectations. It's to go out with some friends, have a good time, and hopefully take some good pictures. I need to do this again before I return to the cycle of not sleeping before the second baby turns up.